The SimZone's Season 8 GT3 Championship, powered by MOZA Racing. The championship consists of 8 weekly rounds, starting in Watkins Glen, New York, and ending in Brands Hatch, UK. At the end of the season, the winner of the championship will receive the MOZA Racing R5 bundle. The R5 bundle includes the MOZA Racing R5 direct drive wheelbase with 5.5 Nm of peak torque. The MOZA ES steering wheel with 22 programmable buttons. And the SRP light racing pedals, made of high-strength steel. Founded by automotive engineers and sim racing drivers, MOZA is a leading innovator in camera stabilization systems and vehicle stability technology. MOZA Racing released their first sim racing products in 2021, and since then, there have been a variety of products for the pros and for home. MOZA Racing is determined to create innovative and professional sim racing equipment that drivers can depend on for quality and endurance. MOZA Racing has also received numerous positive reviews. Here are just some of them.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the SimZone once again, and we're here for round 6 of the MOZA Racing GT3 Championship, and we're at Misano, currently dark in this qualifying session. Track has just gone from green to fast as we speak, and we could definitely be expecting some rain later on in this qualifying session, but at the moment it doesn't really look like there's going to be any rain. So it looks to be a dry qualifying session so far. Pisano currently on provisional pole with a 133.942. Looks like he's got some traffic in front of him there, I believe. That traffic isn't on an invalid lap. No, they're on an invalid lap here, and that's the number 5 Ferrari. That's Christian Oesch there, so he doesn't have to move out the way. Pisano hasn't given himself enough room on this quali lap, so no one to blame but himself in this one. Boothby there puts it on provisional pole, 133.4, but obviously the track has just turned to fast, and even with traffic, Pisano, oh no, Pisano trying to overtake here in the quali session. That's not what we want to see, and he's caused himself and Oesch some damage. Let's have a look at Walker, who's currently in P10 now, 5/10 up on this lap. He's coming up towards the last sector now. So it looks to be up for a good improvement, but we will see the times tumbling down towards the end of this qualifying session, if there's no rain, of course. But of course, coming into this round, we have Boothby on P1 in the championship on 424 points, with Mattia De Campo P2 in the championship on 372 points, followed by Simone Yezi in P3 on 360 points. Then Michael Thomas in P4 on 352 points. Luciano Vitlut in P5 on 319 points. Giovanni in P6 on 312 points. Pisano in P7 on 292 points. Chris Vining in P8 on 285 points. Cosford in P9 on 279 points, and Ryan Walker to round off the top 10 on 273. So really, Boothby has had P1s from round 1 up until round 5. He's been so consistent with the wins here, and looks like he did improve that last lap, 133.3 that time around. Pisano is, I believe, on an out lap now. Nearly currently 3/10 up as he comes to the final corner there, taking a lot of curb on the inside. He used the curb on the exit. No! He's run slightly too wide there. That's an invalid lap. He's not going to improve this time around. Kevin today is 5/10 up at the moment as well, and I believe he's coming towards the last corner. Yes, he is, and let's see what he can do as he rounds the final corner now. Looks like he's lost a few tenths in the last few corners, but he does improve up into P4 goes today. Let's see, Borman is currently a 10th up as well. Looks like he's behind, I believe that's Risala and the number 36 Porsche. Yes, it is. So Risala currently running in P21 at the moment, and he is on a valid. No, he's just invalidated his lap here, so I believe he'll move out the way. Yes, he does. And oh, bit of oversteer there for the Porsche of Borman. He's held it together, but doesn't look like he will improve this lap. Who knows? Let's see if he can find some more time in these final few corners. He's currently not up for an improvement, but he rounds the final corner here. And no, it doesn't look like it will be any improvement there from Borman. We go back to Pisano, who is 2/10 up. We'll see what he can do when he crosses the line. Vaden Heuvel here, currently in P16 in the Lamborghini. It was a few tenths up, but he's lost it on the exit there. He's definitely got some more time in this lap. Got drivers chopping and changing positions in this quali session. Let's have a look at Kennedy, who's currently in P21 here. And I believe he's just started a lap, and he is currently a 10th up. Barth in P22 is 2/10 up as he enters the final sector. But let's go back to Pisano, who is coming up towards the last corner now. Yes, he's 3/10 up here. Is Pisano? Could this possibly be P2? Let's see. As he crosses the line, what's it going to be? Yes, P2 there for Pisano. Just 2/10 off of Boothby's provisional pole time, but it looks like Boothby is up for an improvement as well. So, like I said, we're going to see faster times towards the end of this quali session as the rubber gets laid onto the track and the track condition improves. It's going to get quicker and quicker towards the end. And yeah, it doesn't look like there will be any rain. So luckily for the drivers, well, he will be dry, but will it bring them false hope for the race? We'll just have to see. So definitely expecting some changeable conditions in this race. And yeah, very, very difficult conditions, similar to what we had on Console, in fact, last week on Console at Zolder. We had some tricky changeable conditions. So it will be very similar in this race as well. We look to Baron in P15, 4/10 up at the moment. Let's go on board with him for the remainder of this lap. Heavy on the brakes here, not using the curb on the outside, which is usually what you see most drivers do to open up the corner. But a bit late on the throttle there for Baron. He's lost a few tenths on the exit as a result. Hard on the brakes now. This exit is so important because we've got a long straight leading up towards the triple right-handers. And if you don't get a good exit out of there, you're going to lose even more time by the time you get to the end of the braking zone. You see braking for this one, down 2 gears into 3rd. On the power nice and early, you can use all of the exit there as long as you stay on the curb. Early on the power once again for Baron. This corner's flat. The Mercedes, having a slight lift there. Usually Mercedes has no problem with those sleeping policemen on the inside. But Baron a bit indecisive there with which gear he was going to use, but he does improve nevertheless. Up into P12 goes Baron. We've got De Campo 6/10 up here, and looks like he's got still a bit of a lap to go, so he's got more time in this lap, definitely. 7/10 up now for De Campo. This could be a very good lap. We've seen De Campo battling with Boothby in the last couple of rounds. They've been neck and neck And it's just the pit stops, really, that lets De Campo down. He hasn't been as consistent in the pit stops compared to Boothby. I know that's usually where he loses the most time. On track, he's able to keep up with Boothby, but those pit stops do seem to be quite tricky. And we've seen that. We've witnessed that across the championship. So if you don't get stopped in your box correctly, it lose you a few seconds. But De Campo there with a good improvement up into P4. And look how close the grid is here. Even with just a fast track, the top 8 all within a second of each other. De Campo up for another improvement. Yezi is 2/10 up this lap. And this could be for Yezi. Let's not put the curse on him. He's still got a long way to go for this lap, but he is up for a good improvement here. So let's actually switch off of him because I don't want to put the curse on him just in case. Sealy's going to cross the line here, 2/10 up. Where does he put it? Oh, stays P7 there, so it wasn't enough to gain a position. But it looks like Giovanni in P9 has also improved to top 9 now within a second of each other. Cosford currently sat in P10 is up for an improvement as well. Let's have a quick read of the comments. It looks like we've got Zikra in the comments, TFJ, Jan Barth and Deedee who are both out on track. Timo Mello, good evening to you as well. We've got GT Del B there in comments. How are you doing? Good to see you once again. And let's quickly switch back to Yezi. No, I think he's lost it. He isn't up for... Yeah, no, he's just started another lap. That last lap was a 1:34.9, so yeah, he must have lost it somewhere. Nope, that wasn't the commentator's curse. Pisano, though, has put it within a 10th of Boothby, but Boothby looks like he's going to improve 2/10 here. And once again, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on anyone. 3/10 up at the moment as he comes up towards the penultimate corner now. Now up towards the final corner, and like I said, the track just getting faster and faster and faster as this quali session goes on. But he's going to exit the final corner, 10th up, and there we go. Improves his time to a 1:33.160. Good improvement there from Boothby as he's once again 2/10 up this lap, so maybe he can find even more time. But once again, let's not have a look at him. Vining in P13 is 2/10 up, but doesn't look like be moving up many positions with just a couple tenths. P11 to P12 separated by 6/10 here, so there's quite a big jump there between those two. But Vining rounding the final corner, he's 2/10 up. He might be able to gain one position here if he can keep it under control. He has. He's 3/10 up here. He's going to move up into P12 is Vining, so good improvement there from him. Looks like yes, he's put it up to P2 there, so he has improved. This quali session very, very close at the moment. Let's have a look at Baroni's 5/10 up. Timer has hit 0, so a few drivers already finishing their qualifying session. Baroni 6/10 up here. This could put him quite high up the order. In fact, he might even be able to get into the top 10 if he can find some more time in these in this last sector. It's going to be very, very close though for Barone. And let's see, he's still... Oh, he's lost a bit of time. Hasbro, where's Walker? Walker is coming through the penultimate corner, but Barone's just in front, rounding the final corner now. Let's see where this is going to put him. It's probably going to be P13 or P12 even. Let's see, crossing the line. P12 there for Barone, and Walker is going to cross the line with an improvement. Oh, no, Walker just jumps up into P12. So there we have it. Boothby on... provisional pole, in fact, because yes, he's up for an improvement. Pisano's up for an improvement as well, and if Pisano can keep his 2/10, 3/10 up this lap. But he's only got a few more corners to go, and this might be provisional. Well, this might be pole for Pisano. He comes up towards the final corner. He needs to get a really good exit here if he wants to get pole, and it looks like it might be for Pisano. He's going to cross the line, and whoa, it's not pole. Look at that. Let's just see if we can get rid of this. Look how close that qualifying session is. Boothby on pole, Ezzy in P2 and Pisano in P3. Didn't quite get to see the timings there, but we've got a glimpse of them. But we'll be back very shortly for the start of this race, and as you can see, it's starting greasy, but it's gonna go dry. So yeah, we will be back very, very shortly.
Don't know what about my PSIs, but no. I am so unprepared for this. So unprepared. It is what it is. It's too late. It's too late. We just have to make do with what we got. I'm guessing the PSIs will be about that. Let's just give it a go. Yeah, we'll see what happens, mate. We'll see what happens. We can only give it our best, all right? We'll just work with what we've got. We'll just work with what we've got. Oh, look, am I? Right. Well, it's too late now. It's too late now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the formation lap. Got Kenny in the comments saying good luck to everyone. Jan saying let's go. Yeah, and the rain has actually stopped. Track is still greasy, but it's going to dry out very quickly. But will we see the rain start to fall once again? It's happened in the practice session. It's gone from wet to dry back to wet. So it could definitely happen in the race as well. As we saw, Boothby, Ezzy and Pisano all within 200ths of each other. That's absolutely nothing separating those three in qualifying. It's going to be extremely, extremely close between these three Hondas, and we always see the Hondas at the top. I think we're just waiting for Kunos to sort them out because they're absolutely ridiculous compared to the other cars. The Porsche is still there, but they're just not as quick in terms of pace. Some tracks they're able to match lap times, but on a lot of them they are a bit slower in terms of BOP as well. Of course, we have a mandatory pit stop in this race as well, which will just bring up now. There we go. And for the drivers, if it starts raining, they're going to want to wait till the pit window opens, of course. They don't want to pit too early, just in case. And of course, if they do pit before the pit window, they'll have to pit once more, because their mandatory stop does have to be served when the pit window is open. So let's hope no one's made that mistake. Let's hope no one started on the wrong tyres either, because it's going to be a huge mistake. Who knows, it might start raining all of a sudden and it could come back to them. But we've got the drivers lining up 2 by 2 now, I believe. There we go, yes, they are lining up 2 by 2 now. Just going to get ready for this race start. It's not going to be an easy one. Misano being quite a tight track in the first sector. Let's see, they're going to round off the final corner here now. Track is still greasy, but like I said, it's going to dry up very, very quickly. Boothby on the inside. If Ezi can hold it around the outside, he's going to get the inside for the next corner. It's just a case of who can get a better start here. Last time, Ezi got a better start. Let's see. And we are green here. Boothby off to a good start as well. He's pulling towards the inside. These two not making contact this time around. In fact, looks like they're almost all up in there, but Boothby's going to hold on to P1, and in fact, Pisano has made a position there. He's got up into P2 now, and Yezi down into P3. Looks like Borman on the inside of DeCamber here defending this next corner, this right-hander. Pisano trying around the outside. There's not much room to go the long way around, but he's going to focus on the exit here to get the slipstream on Boothby. He's run slightly wide here, so have the cars in the background, and looks like he's still got a good exit, and Boothby going extremely defensive. Bit of a fake from Pisano. He's going to have to go the long way around once again. Boothby not letting him have any space on the inside, but Boothby having a much tougher start than usual. We usually see him pull away from the rest of the pack. Even last time at Zolder, he wasn't able to, and bit of contact between the two there. Pisano nudging Boothby on. He's saying, let's go. The drivers behind are still very, very close. Pisano really eager to get this move done on the first lap. But looking at the grid, what's happened to the rest of the field? They've seemed to have dropped back quite a bit, so that makes me think there's been a bit of contact. I think there was a bit of contact at the start, unfortunately. We've had some great starts this season, but I think this probably isn't one of them. We just have to try and see exactly what happens on the lead lap, and looks like there was a few drivers going off, but it's still P1, P2 and P3 all very, very close. They've pulled away from the rest of the field at the moment. It looks like we've got a drive-through penalty for Christian Osh for incorrect position off start. Walker into the pit, so I believe he's possibly picked up some damage, or he has started on the wrong tyres. Not too sure at the moment. Ziggurat saying that the track just go from greasy to fast in one lap now up to, yes, it is on a 3 times multiplier, but it could definitely start raining once again. And we've even got the sun out now, so not exactly what some of the drivers were expecting. But let's look down to P9. We've got another battle going on here. Thomas defending this position from Giovanni. Giovanni trying around the outside. In fact, Thomas has got some damage on the Audi. Looks like it's on the rear as well, so he's been involved in a bit of a collision. Thomas starts in P9, so he hasn't actually lost any positions just yet. But yeah, I think Vining has had quite a bad accident. Sealy's had a bit of an accident. We've got loads of drivers into the pits, maybe starting on the wrong tyres as well. Not too sure. Let's see if we can have a look if they picked up any damage. I believe Sealy's got some heavy damage on that first lap, which is unfortunate. We've got quite a few drivers. There's 5 drivers in the pits now, so either they've picked up damage or they have... oh, looks like it is damaged, so not the best start there. From some of the drives towards the mid-pack or the back even. But Thomas still holding on to P9 here. He's got a bit of a train behind him. Giovanni in P10, Viput there in P11. He's got some damage on that Porsche as well. McFarquhar in P12 as well. Traction Dave in P13. Van Hoorn here in P14. Pryor in P15 as well. We've got some massive battles going on. Although Van Hoorn and Pryor have lost a bit of time to the train in front. They're nearly 4 seconds back, but yeah, we've got the sun out now, surprisingly, so this is pretty much British weather summed up for you, although we're in Italy. Yeah, we've got all 4 seasons in one race. We'll just have to see if it rains a lot later on. It's definitely possible that the race could be fully dry. Let's hope it's not. But let's look down to P18. Barton and Misano battling for position as well. We've got a bit of damage there from Barton. And looks like, I believe we've had a retirement. I think Walker. No, Walker's still on track. In the pits, I mean. So he's definitely picked up some damage somewhere, unfortunately. But for those who are pitting now, they will be in clean air, of course. And looks like Van Hoorn and Hooschii into the pit. So have they gone on the wrong tyre? Van Hoorn into the... Yes. I believe they've started on the wrong tyres. And they've probably started on the wets, these two. Looks like Walker's back out on track. That's a huge mistake for them. They're only 6 minutes into the race, which means they're going to have to serve another pit stop. Because we've still got that pit window to go. That's a real shame, but Boothby leads this race, is second to Pisano now, so he's gapping Pisano ever so slightly. That last lap, he was 3/10 quicker. Pisano and Yezi spacing out as well, although these three still lapping in the 133s. De Campo now has picked up the pace. He's lapping in the 133s also, 3/10 quicker than the driver in front there, Benjamin Borman. But we've got 4 Porsches, P4, P5, P6 and P7 here. All neck and neck at the moment. Looks like we've got yellow flags out on track. Is that someone exiting the pits? No, it's Van den Heuvel. And Barton looks like they've come into contact there. And Barton doesn't seem to be happy with Van den Heuvel at all. And is he letting him through? Looks like he is. Very sportsmanship there, very sportsmanlike from Van den Heuvel. He obviously realised he made a mistake there, and he's let him back through, which is great to see. Back to the race, the gap between these two still about a second. Let's have a look at what battles do we have a look at. Thomas in P11 still fending off. Look at that damage he's got there on that right hand side. Is it the same on the left? No, it's not. So he's obviously had some contact. Oh no, there is a bit of damage on the left as well, so yeah, he has had some contact somewhere. McFarquhar in P11, so in fact Thomas has lost 2 positions in the last couple of laps since we've seen him, and he's got Giovanni right behind him. He's closing in. Thomas going defensive here, and then we're going to have to go trackside to see these two side by side on the exit. Thomas able to take the racing line though on the exit. He's not going to go defensive once again, but he might have to now because Giovanni right on the inside. Was there a bit of contact there between the two? Looks like there may have been, forcing Thomas slightly wide, and he's not going to be happy with that. A little bit of contact once more between the two. He's definitely not happy with what Giovanni did just then. And is he going to back out of that? No, he's not. So he's still in front. Yeah, cheeky bump to pass there from Giovanni. Obviously didn't look intentional, but that's just because they're following so close at the moment. Let's have a look at McFarquhar just up ahead of these two. He's closing in on Viput now. Let's see what their lap times are when they cross the line. So here we go. In fact, very similar. Both 134.7s from Vitboot and McFarcar. The gap between these two is staying the same at the moment. Giovanni and P11's pulling away now from Thomas. Thomas has got Josh and Dave right behind him. Looks like he's let him through here. That damage really not helping that Audi whatsoever. And I'm really surprised that it is an optimum track. And the sun is, well, the sun is out at the moment, but you never know, it could still start to rain later on. Could definitely have some passing by clouds in this race as well. Look to P5, the Campo, Borman and Yezi here. They've gapped Cosford ever so slightly. Cosford's still lapping in the 33s, but maybe the Snappy's made a mistake. And there we go, the rain in 10 minutes. And in fact, that's going to be just in time for the pit window as well. So I think for the drivers, you're going to want to keep the car out for as long as possible, just in case that weather changes and it decides to go back to dry. If it does, then the drivers who've pitted early are going to be in some big trouble. And those who have stayed out for as long as possible are going to reap the benefits of doing so. And for the leaders, well, they're pretty much going to stay out for as long as possible. They're in pretty much clean air. In fact, Yezi now defending from Borman. Let's quickly switch to P3. It's Yezi, Borman and the Campo all in the battle now. Pisano and Boothby still relatively close. The gap between those two is now 1.5 seconds. But the rain can definitely mix things up. And this could be a dry to wet race. But that rain's got to get heavier if we want the track to become wet later on. But yeah, it's perfect timing for the pit window, in fact. So thank you, weather gods. Well, the drivers are going to be thanking the weather gods as well. And this is pretty much a four-car train. Ezzy in P3, Borman in P4, Magic the Campo in P5, and Cosford in P6 now. In fact, Cosford has moved up a few, well, he's caught back up. Today he's down into P7 now, so something is, actually no, today started in P7, so he's stayed in his quali position. Bilotti has moved up 10 positions off the start. Hartfield in P17 has moved up 11 positions off the start. So we've had some massive gains so far this race, and Bilotti having to defend his position, but whoa, Misano's so late on the brakes, and in fact, he's got the car stopped. Now, Bilotti was really early on the brakes there, and Vesala very, very late on the brakes, complete opposite ends there, and he managed to make that stick and managed to keep that within track limits. I really thought he'd outbrake himself there, but he got the car stopped in time and got that move done round the outside. I think that's definitely one of the highlights there for Vesala, and Bilotti very late on the brakes there, having to go off track. That could possibly be a track limit warning for Bilotti, but let's hope he hasn't got one. Let's look down towards P18, finding, oh, he's got a bit of damage on that Honda as well. He's having to defend, oh, he's got some severe damage on the front. He's having to defend against Kaczynskis in P19. I'm sure Vining's struggling to get that car turning, currently lapping 137s. Just goes to show, look at that damage. Just goes to show how much he's suffering here. This lap, on track, and yep, rain looks to be getting heavier as well in 10 minutes. And oh no, Kaczynskis, that's another bit of contact where with Vining, he's really not going to be happy with how this race has gone so far. Kaczynskis tried for a move there. Looks like he's going to let him through, which is once again sportsmanlike, a very sportsmanlike from Kaczynskis, but yeah, that move was never going to work for him, but he's now got Barton right behind him. These two both carrying heavy damage. They've got Van den Heuvel not far behind either. Looks like that is Paul Whitburn there in the Audi. He's trying to unlap himself at the moment. He is, well, he hasn't got damage, but he is a lap down. Of course, he's allowed to unlap himself, but yeah, that contact, Vining's not going to be happy one bit. Let's look down to Walker, who's back out on track now. Looks like his car is perfectly fine. Kennedy in P28 started on the wets, I believe, so that's why he pitted earlier on. And well, he's going to have to pit once again once the rain starts. Running in P28 at the moment. I'm sure it's not where he wants to be on the track. Let's have a quick look at Boothby. He's pulled 2.7 seconds now to Pisano. And Yezi losing a lot of time to these two as well. He's having to defend, and that's why he's losing so much time. He's got quite a few cars behind him still. He's got Borman, De Campo and Cosford all in this battle. But the rain's definitely going to throw a spanner into the works. And it's just going to be who's better at, who's made the correct gamble. You never know, it could go back to drive, and B, who's got the quickest pit stop really, because with the drive being so close. And like I said earlier in the qualifying session, if the drivers make an incorrect pit stop, stopping their box incorrectly, it's going to cost them a few seconds. And yeah, with the grid being so close, a few seconds is a lot of time in this race. I mean, we're 15 minutes into the race, and the top two are only separated by 3 seconds, and P3 to P6 are all within a second of each other, so it's really, really close at the moment. Looks like we've also got some more battling going on here. Kosinskas there in P20. Just a second back to Vine. Barton's actually lost some time to him. He was much closer, but on that straight, looks like Kosinskas really able to close into the Honda just due to that damage. And of course, we've got Paul Whitburn behind them, just trying to unlap himself. If I were Kosinskas here, I'd let him through. Just doesn't want to be battling against a lapped car. Be losing a lot of time here. With that lap car being quicker on the track at the moment, it's probably better that he follows him through. But yes, he's still holding on to P3 at the moment. We've got McFarquhar and Giovanni, P10 and P11 battling for position as well. Looks like they are lapping very similar times, both in the Mercedes here as well. Let's go on board with Giovanni. Oh, good to see Cody in the comments as well. Yeah, hope you're enjoying the that sim place. I'm not sure what it's called, but yeah, appreciate the kind words as well. TFJ in the comments saying, CJ, you should do your rain dance again to spice some things up. Looks like it's worked. TFJ saying Van Hoorn had quali fuel, not race fuel. That's a huge mistake, and that's really unfortunate for Van Hoorn. We got, can't read that last comment, let's have a look. As a question saying, is the randomness on max? It's on 6 or 5 randomness, I believe. Not 100% sure, but it looks like we've got another battle going on here between Borman, who's just made a move on De Campo, although they're still side by side, almost touching wheels here. De Campo not leaving much room for Borman, but he's going to get that position back down the inside. And Borman having to go defensive here because Cosford is right on their tail now, and he might be able to slingshot past here now that they're on a bit of the straight. And it looks like, I'm not sure if he can send it into the hairpin, into this long right-hander. He's so close. He needs to focus on his exit here. Borman might have to go defensive. Yeah, it looks like he has gone a bit defensive there, and Cosford not finding any gap on the inside to go for an overtake. Yes, he in P3 currently still. Well, he's pulled away from De Campo now that he's battling with Borman. Looks like he's got some traffic just in front there. I believe that's Van Hoorn, who's just moved out of the way. We've still got this battle going on for P10 as well. Looks like Giovanni's made that move on the McFarquhar up into P10. Giovanni goes. We just caught that in time. And Giovanni on a bit of a roll at the moment, but of course started in P6. So pretty much a recovery drive for him at the moment. Now you can see the track still optimum, but it's got much darker. The clouds have come out, and we are expecting rain in 3 minutes. It's going to get heavier in 10 minutes, so this is a proper dry to wet race, which is exactly what we wanted to see. Now I thought it was going to be dry for the whole race, and these two both going slightly wide there, bouncing over the sleeping policeman on the exit. And then, yep, we're going to get some heavy rain very shortly. And this is where Boothby was actually struggling in practice. I remember him saying on his stream that he does struggle in the really wet conditions. I believe his setup not affected to well, a completely wet track, almost flooded wet track. So that's where the Hondas in general might struggle, and the other cars, I think especially the Mercedes, might start moving up the order, because we know the Mercedes is a very good car in the wet. The Porsches might start moving up the order as well, and even the Astons, although the highest Aston currently Bilotti in P16, we'll just have to see, as their pit window is about to open in just a minute. Zikra also saying Didi on fire. That is Vasala, who is currently in P15. Yeah, he's doing a great job at the moment. Where did he start on the grid? He started P22, so he's moved 7 positions up so far. And we've still got 29 drivers in the race, so we've only lost 1, and there we go, the rain starting, but it looks to get less in 10 minutes. That's a gamble for the drivers, really. Do they try and stay out for as long as possible and just tiptoe around the circuit, or do they pit for the wets? Track has gone to fast already, so it's changed so quickly. Or do they pit for the wets and take a gamble? Maybe they have to pit again if the track goes back to dry. And this is exactly what I was mentioning in the briefing to the drivers, that there may be a double stop in this race. There we go, pit window is now open. But yeah, I think the drivers will stay out for as long as possible, and Giovanni's now caught up to one of his teammates there in the other Mercedes, Barone. So he's really on a roll now, and of course he's out of position. You know, he is picking up the pace here and gaining 1 position, well, knocking off 1 position one by one here. Looks like Cosford, Borman into the pits now, so he's pitted early, and looks like he may go on the wets. Looks like that's Van Horn following through, but if I were them, I'd stay out for a bit longer. Track is only greasy, and on a greasy track, slicks can last. Even on a damp track, slicks can last. So I think they may have made a bit of a mistake here, and looks like that is Cosford just getting past Clayton, I believe that is in the Audi just behind. We got today Woman into the pits. Let's see who else. Vining and Osh battling for P20. Looks like Vining struggling now. Osh has got a bit of damage, but not as much as this Honda does. We've got Van den Hoover into the pits, Barth into the pits. Kennedy staying out on track, and you can see although the rain has settled down, well, will settle down in about 10 minutes, it's going to continue raining. So it's really a gamble. It's down to, there's a bit of luck involved as well in this. Boothby's got a 4-second lead now to Pisano. And it looks like the rain's getting heavier in 3 minutes again, so we now have some passing by clouds, which is great to see. Definitely not for the drivers though, but for the viewers, yep. Some great action here on track. And Yessi now falling into the clutches of De Campo once again. The Porsches seem to be a bit more confident in these conditions. So, Boothby into the pits? No, looks like he's staying out on track. Pisano into the pits now. Oh, what's happened to Boothby? Where's Boothby gone? Oh, yes, he is in the pits, so got scared there. But yeah, everyone seems to pit now as the rain starts to get heavier, and they'll all be switching to the wet tyres. But yeah, why is Boothby down in... Alright, so a bit of a bug there, I think, on the timings. I thought he disconnected, but it gave me a bit of a heart attack there. But luckily he didn't. But yeah, track has gone to damp now, and we've still got Cosford out on track. So he's continuing to lap around the circuit, but it's going to get... Track's going to get wet very, very quickly, so he may be taking a massive risk here. You can see the back end of that Porsche stepping out all over the place. Just going on board here with Cosford. He's really struggling for grip here. He's going to have to try and maybe even go off the rubber to find some grip. And I'm sure his tyres will be really cold. He's really struggling. I don't even think he's in his dry engine map. He's surely in a different engine map here. And is it worth it? Was it worth it staying out for this much longer? I'm not too sure it was. But let's see, he's probably going to pit this lap, is Cosford. We've got Misano out on the track now. Boothby in P4 he hasn't pitted. He hasn't served his mandatory stop. That's interesting. That's either a bug on our end or he actually hasn't served it. Let's have a look no, he has served it, so that is a bug on our end, in fact. And a bit of a mistake there from Cosford. I think he's going to want to pit now. He hasn't pitted. He's kept it out on track. So Cosford keeping it out. In fact, he might have made a good decision here, because track goes back to dry in 10 minutes, but Cosford really struggling to keep the car on track. But if he pits, it's for dries, or doesn't even change tyres, he might actually jump quite a few drivers, maybe even going to the lead here. Boothby, of course, has served his pit stop. He's only... no, he's really far back. He's about 45 seconds back now to Cosford. Now, can he make that much time up in about 10 minutes? It is possible. We'll just have to wait and see what the drivers do. That's just properly down to strategy. Clayton in P16, obviously yet to serve his mandatory stop. And is he on wets? No, it looks like he's really tiptoeing round here. He's locked up the fronts there as well, so I think he will dive into the pits, possibly this lap, to hit for wets. Unless he is on wets, I'm not sure. It looks quite planted around the corners, so he might actually... I think it's either me having some connection issues, or Clayton has just found the door to Narnia there. I'm not sure where Harry's gone. Let's try and find him on the grid. Is he still alive? Yes, he is. So, I'm not exactly sure what happened there to Clayton. Looks like Barone, no, yellow flag's out for Barone here. Track is very, very wet here. Looks almost flooded. And drivers who are on the slick tyres are really going to be struggling now. Where is Cosford on the track? He's losing heaps of time here to the drivers behind. Boothby is probably on wet tyres now. And he has served his pit stop. Let's see if we can correct that. I'm not sure if we can. But he has definitely served his mandatory pit stop, so that's a bit of an error on our side. So ignore that. But it looks like Traction Dave and Michael Thomas now battling forward position. Looks like it's Thomas. Yeah, Thomas still yet to serve his pit stop. Misano's got a drive-through penalty as well, so that could have been either for track limits or speeding in the pits. So he's going to have to serve that at one point, and he was so close battling with Boothby beforehand, and very, very sideways there for Traction Dave, who is definitely on the slicks. But yeah, looks like that is Boothby in the background as well. But I think for Cosford, he's made the right decision here. This could be a really good strategy call, and I believe that's Pryor off in the background. Drivers are really struggling in these conditions. Paul Whitburn is off the track as well. These conditions really catching people out now. This is what we usually see with these conditions. We skipped to P11. Faulkner, I believe all these drivers are on the wet tyres. These two AMGs, and they've got Vitvoot behind them as well. They all seem to be on the wet tyre, but they may have to change towards the end of the race, because once the rain stops, the track's going to go dry very, very quickly. We've seen how quickly it goes from fast to optimum, and with the rain settling down ever so slightly, and Giovanni down the inside with a great move there. And McFarlane has been tagged around there by Vitvoot. He's not going to be happy with that move one bit. Looks like they were just following way too closely all these wet conditions, but he's lost 2 positions down. He seems to be all over the place on the exit of that left-hander. We go back to Boothby. He served his mandatory pit stop. He's got past Thomas. Thomas still yet to serve his pit stop as well. And now that just leaves a 34-second gap between Cosford and Boothby. So now, if Boothby has to pit once more, because he's definitely on wet. So if he has to pit once more when the track dries up, he could definitely be behind Cosford, but I think we just have to wait and see. It's going to be a tricky call to make, in fact. I'm just guessing. But maybe Boothby's done this correctly, or Cosford has done it correctly. In fact, still rain falling on the circuit, so it's not dried up just yet. We've got yellow flags out once more. I believe it's Pisano who's got a drive-through penalty, but he's in the pits now. No, Borman's got a drive-through penalty. Pisano is in the pits. Not sure what's happened to Pisano there. He's down in P28 now. He's been disqualified as Pisano. So has he been speeding in the pits, or what has happened there? I think it might have been due to speeding in the pits. I'm really not sure what's happened to Pisano. I think he may have gone in a bit too fast. And unfortunately, we can't clear those penalties given by the game. So that's pretty much his race over, which is really unfortunate. And once again, for those that are watching, make sure to hit the like button, and as well, huge thanks to all our patrons who help us run the league. Of course, definitely wouldn't be possible without you guys, so massive thank you to all our patrons here at the SimZone. We're looking at Cosford now. The gap between him and Boothby down to 22 seconds, and look, it's going to stop raining in about 3 minutes, and in fact, doesn't really look like it's raining too much now either. So Cosford may jump up a few positions towards the end of the race, and if it stays dry from now, well, if there's no rain from now to the end of the race, we're going to see Cosford start to climb up the order. Looks like Thomas is in for his mandatory pit stop. He'll be sticking to the dries. Vitvuch with a drive-through penalty as well, so he's going to have to serve that very shortly. Who else in the pits? Traction Dave into the pits. Vastala still yet to pit. He's up into P12, and well, I believe he's on the dry tyres as well, but he's going to stay out for as long as possible, and that seems to have been the trick here for these changeable conditions, is staying out on the track for as long as possible. And let's have a look if there are any more battles going on throughout the grid. Looks like Cosford's got Van Hoorn behind him. Van Hoorn currently running in P18. Obviously a lap down, but looks like Cosford's not really going to battle with him. And I believe Van Hoorn is on wet tyres, sorry. No, of course he is allowed to unlap himself. But Cosford's gonna, well, it's gonna start coming back to Cosford with the track drying out. Looks like that's Traction Dave just behind Cosford. Thomas has come out behind as well. I believe Thomas has repaired his damage on that car. And oh, he's so sideways. He's gonna be on cold slicks in the wet. And has he repaired that damage? I believe he has. Yep, looks like he has repaired his damage. And it looks like we've got another battle going on between Vining and Taylor. Vining has also repaired his damage. He served his pit stop. Taylor, though, has also served his pit stop. So, yeah, I think there is a bit of an error with the pit stops this time. It's not exactly sure what's going on, but he's run wide there through the final corner, and looks like that is one of the Mercedes. It might be Giovanni, who's just, or Barone, who's just got past, but of course they are on different laps at the moment. Looks like we've got a battle for P21 as well. That's Barton, who's got a move done on Kasinskas out the final corner. Kasinskas with a slight mistake there as well, running a bit wide, and Barton's going to get that move done. Well, he's got that move done quite easily. Now, track is still wet here, but with the rain, I believe, stopped now. Doesn't look like there's any rain falling from the sky. it doesn't look like there's any rain. And Thomas with a move there down the inside through the final corner. They may have exchanged positions once again, and there we go. Rain has stopped. So it's going to start to dry up now. So we've still got yellow flags out on track. I believe that's for Pisano's in the pits. You obviously got a DSQ here. So not sure why it's showing yellow flags. Once again, another error in the game. We go back to Cosford. Gap to Boothby is only 6.7 seconds. Now Boothby has, of course, pitted Yezdi now with a drive-through penalty as well. So many drivers picking up drive-through penalties here. And yeah, Yezi in the pits to serve his drive-through penalty. Vitvu has served his as well. Vasala still out on track, who's yet to serve his mandatory pit stop. So the only two yet to serve theirs is Cosford and Vasala. So yes, he's gonna. Oh, and no, Taylor's served his mandatory pit stop. There's don't think there's anything I can do to fix that, unfortunately. And oh, Cosford with a huge mistake there, and luckily, oh, that's Traction Dave off in the background as well. We've got a few drivers on the slicks really struggling here by the time they get to the braking zone, and Boothby has passed Cosford. So Cosford obviously has to serve his mandatory pit stop. And it's probably going to put about a 30-second gap between Boothby and Cosford, but Boothby is on the wet tyres, I believe. In fact, let's have a look at him. Cosford pulls the trigger, dives into the pits now, and yeah, it looks like Boothby is on the wet tyres. So if the track gets really, really dry, he's going to run the risk, and he stays on the wets, he's going to run the risk of maybe getting a puncture. So he may even have to pit once more as the track starts to dry up, but it's still wet conditions out on track, so we'll just have to wait and see how quickly it does dry up, in fact. And let's look, Traction Dave there, side by side with Osh. He's trying to get that move done, but no, Osh holds on to that position. And yeah, Dave definitely on slicks. You can tell he's on that curb, and instantly the car wants to shoot off to the left. Osh maybe on wet tyres. Let's have a look. Borman looks like he's got a move done here on Giovanni. Side by side, Giovanni trying to fight back here into turn 2 as they go through turn 3 now. Giovanni with a bit of a better line. Borman having to go defensive, and they might even have to defend the next corner, though he's going to be on the wet patch, and look at that, squarely under the brakes, but he's managed to get it stopped in time. Can the Mercedes go for a switchback? Doesn't look like he's close enough to do so, but he's got to hold straight here in the next corner, but he's so sideways out of that left-hander, and he's lost heaps of time by doing so. And who's that in the background? That's Vasala, who's now served his mandatory pit stop, and he's down in... No, he hasn't. It's showing up he hasn't served his mandatory pit stop. It's showing up he has one here, but yeah, we've got some really weird stuff going on at the moment, but I believe he hasn't served it because I don't think he refueled. He's gonna have to serve another stop. Here's Vasala, and looks like the yellow flag's out for today. He's lost it there on the exit. We've seen quite a few drivers losing the car there, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's a really tricky place on the circuit. It seems to be the most water at the back section of the track, and today into the pits. Is he pitting? Oh, he's got a drive-through penalty, does today. So he's gonna have to serve that as well. We've seen so many drive-throughs here at Misano, even in the wet. And I will skip down to battle for P6. Ezzy here having to defend against McFarquhar now. And the track's still wet, surprisingly. Would have expected it to go, well, get drier by now, but it hasn't. So maybe the drivers on the wet tyres are at an advantage at the moment. Cosford is down into P8 after his mandatory pit stop, and remember, he was on the slicks from the beginning. It really is. It really is a bit of a gamble for the drivers. Can I say it was a giga call for Gosford and Deedee? Well, at the moment, it's not looking like it is. Earlier it was, but with the track still staying wet, it might not have been the best decision, in fact. Because it's not drying up as fast as we thought it would. But there we go. Oh, the sun's coming out now, so maybe it will start to dry up very, very quickly. And there we go. Misano into the pits once more. Now he's served his mandatory pit stop. But here we go. If the sun starts to come out, the track's going to start to dry up much, much quicker. And, well, 20 minutes left to go of the race, and on wets, that's going to be a mountain to climb, and those wets are going to be burning up. And like I said earlier, you run the risk of having a puncture. But for now, track is still wet. Let's look down to Vining and Van Hoorn, P17 and P18. Van Hoorn here fending off Vining. Then it looks like they've got, I believe that's Borman behind them as well. Look how close these two are, bumper to bumper at the moment. Dual bit squarely on the exit for Van Hoorn. He's Tokyo drifting at the moment, but he's got to let the leaders through here. But he's deep on the brakes here. Looks like he might be able to hold into this position against Vining just behind. Vining really putting on the pressure at the moment. It looks like he's going to get a better exit. Van Hoorn slightly wide there, bouncing over the sleeping policeman, and Honda looking for a move up the inside. They are side by side here. It looks like Vining might be able to get this move done. Van Hoorn, is he going to go for an outside line? No, he's going to try and get a switchback and almost making contact there with Vining. They're so close on the exit, but Vining made that move stick, and up into P17 he goes. P19 and P20, Taylor and Barton continuing to battle. These two have been neck and neck since the pit stops, and Taylor a bit deep on the brakes there. I think he wanted to avoid maybe a collision with Barton. Barton had the inside line, but I believe these two know each other from BOA Esports. We go back up to P7 today, who's on the back of McFarquhar. Track is still wet, sun is slightly out. Yeah, I'm very surprised that the track is still wet. We've got a good amount of cars running on the circuit at the moment. Yeah, I definitely thought it would dry up quicker, so, well, for Boothby, it aids in his favour. He's got a 27-second lead to P2, but if the track starts to dry up dramatically now, you can see where the standing water is and where there could be a dry line starting to form. But on the insides of the corners, there's still a lot of standing water, especially in the back section of the track. There is a lot of water on the inside. And let's go back to Today and McFarquhar. Today's got that move done on McFarquhar. Now he's got Gezzy's 4 seconds up the road there. He can, in fact, I believe that's a Porsche just in front of them, but he will be able to see him once they get onto the straight. Yeah, you can just see a glimpse there of the Honda flying past. Looks like Barone's got a move done here on Cosford. Cosford's made a mistake, I believe. He's dropped down to P10. And it looks like that's Van den Heuvel trying to get past Barone. These two aren't battling for position at the moment. Van den Heuvel is down in P22. The next guy ahead of Van den Heuvel is Kosinskas, who's only at 2 seconds now in front, so they'll be able to see him as well. There we go. Kosinskas not far in front, and Van den Heuvel is going to try and follow Barone through. That's probably his best chance He doesn't want to be battling with the lead car. He definitely doesn't want to make contact with the lead car either. And looks like Barone, oh, they've made contact there between the two. And looks like Barone's lost the car on the exit. It wasn't well timed there from Van den Heuvel to get past. And Barone's going to drop down the order here. Looks like the race leader, Boothby, coming through as well. This is another battle we've got going on. I believe, is that Ridley there in P8 battling with Raya, or is that Cosford? Let's have a look. Yes, it's Cosford actually, who is currently in P10. Yes, P10, and Pryor is just up ahead. It looks like Barone trying for a move down the inside into turn 1. Hasn't got that move done this time around, but yeah, track is still wet. So surprisingly, very, very surprisingly, it hasn't gone even to damp yet. And it looks like a huge mistake there for Barone, and Cosford's going to capitalise on that mistake. Up into P10 he goes, but Barone's still there. And Cosford, obviously on the slick tyres, Barone probably on the wets here. And he's going to have a look down the inside. He's going to be on the wet patch of the track, but if he's on wet tyres, it shouldn't matter too much. And there we go. He's got that move done, but can Cosford fight back on the exit? Looks like he's going to try to. He's looking to the outside now. No, Barone very, very late on the brakes there. Can he make the corner? He's gone a bit wide. Yeah, he's missed the apex completely. I don't know, it doesn't look like Cosford will be able to get that position back. McFarlane into the pits. He's got a drive-through penalty. There were so many drivers picking up penalties here in this race. I believe it's just due to track limits. Now we look down towards P14, Traction Dave there defending from Bilotti in P15. Bilotti down the inside, who I believe is on wet tyres as well. Looks down towards the inside. That Porsche really unstable in the braking zones. And Dave definitely on slicks, and hasn't been passed by Bilotti just yet. He's been able to hold it around the outside there. You can see they're really struggling for traction. He's having to take a wet line here through the corners. He's avoiding the inside, but looks like Bilotti there pulling. Oh no, he's letting the race leader through. I believe that is today in P6. No, it's not today in P6. It is Borman then in P3. Who's just got past, and that could have been a bad place for Joshua Dave to let the leader through, because that's allowed Bilotti down the inside, and Bilotti's going to get that move done. So once again taking advantage of the race leader to get that move done, and now they've got Vining closing up to the back of them. 1.7 seconds there to Vining. Hartfield also closing in. Hartfield running in P17. And Hartfield started in P28. He's gained 11 positions off the start. Likewise as Bilotti, 11 positions since the start. Those two are the drivers with the most positions gained so far. It looks like that is the 898 car. I believe that is Giovanni. Yes, it is, in P4 currently, getting past with no issues whatsoever. Looks like Vining has got past Josh and Dave there, so up into P15 Vining goes. And yeah, you see the drivers with the slicks now dropping down the order. So yeah, definitely wasn't the best call to make. So the drivers with the slicks are really going to struggle, and even if the track goes to dry now, which it probably won't, maybe damp at the least, or at the most, yeah, it's just not going to come back to them quick enough. And for the drivers on the wet tyres, they are excelling now in these conditions. Zikrai saying cloudy again, more rain perhaps, maybe, but yeah, it's definitely not going to dry up quickly enough for the slicks to work out. And it could have been such a great strategy, it could have been such a great call from Cosford and well, Vasala now, who has pitted twice in fact, but yeah, I think for Cosford it was more important there. It could have been such a great strategy call, but he's losing time now cars around him who are on the wet tyres. In fact, that last lap, he's in the 146s. Christian Oesch, who's in P11, is in the 143s, so 3 seconds a lap quicker. Just losing heaps of time at the moment and finding on the back of Bilotti. Now, once again, these two are battling for position earlier on, with Bilotti getting the move done, and Bilotti slightly wide there, and Vanni's going to slot through. No trouble there for him. And up into P13 he goes. Looks like we've also got another battle going on between Hartfield and Truction Dave. Truction Dave losing another position here, obviously on the slicks. He's going to get swamped by all these drivers on the wet tyres. He's dropping down the order so quickly. I think he's just going to let them through, because he knows he's on different tyres to the rest. Look how many cars we've got here. We've got the race leaders trying to come through as well. It's Van Hoorn behind in P18. And now I believe that is today in P6. Yes, it is. There we go. Getting through some traffic now. He's only 1.2 seconds back to Yezi, who's in between with Farquhar and Hartfield here. We look towards Van Hoorn. He's trying for a move here on Dave. Dave on the outside. Van Hoorn's down the inside line here, but can Dave hold it around the outside? Doesn't look like he can. It's just not enough grip on the slicks at the moment. And Van Hoorn gets past Farquhar with a stop go 30 as well. So he's into the pits once more to serve that stop go 30, and I believe that's due to speeding in the pit lane, because the last time he went to serve his drive-through penalty, he must have sped into the pits, which is a huge shame there for Farquhar. Kennedy up into P25 now, after starting, I believe, have a look, P23, so he's lost 2 positions off the start. Was obviously on the wet tyres to begin with, which wasn't the right choice, unfortunately. But we go back towards today, who's closing in to Ezzy here. The gap's under a second between these two. It's flickering between 7/10 and a second. And Van Hoorn right at the back of Hartfield as well, so we'll see if we can grab that battle up in just a moment. Where is Van Hoorn? There we go. Bring these two battles up side by side. You see there Van Hoorn right in the back of Hartfield. Hartfield using more of the track on the exit than Van Hoorn in the Aston is. And we've still got this battle going on between Today and Ezzy. Today closing in. That last lap was a 1:42.2 for Today. He's managed to navigate through the traffic much more efficiently than Ezzy did. And they are bumper to bumper now. Nothing separating these two. Well, for both battles, nothing separating either of them. And in fact, in front of Hartfield and Van Hoorn, we've got this battle going on between Ezzy and Today. Of course, they are a lap ahead, but you can see them there going into turn 1, and it looks like Hartfield going defensive, coming up towards turn 1. Van Hoorn gonna try it around the outside. If you can hold it around the outside, no, looks like he's braked a bit early there. Didn't have enough of an overlap to go for that move. So he's slotted back, and I believe he's going to try for another move here. No, just being ever so patient. But he's really putting on the pressure to Hartfield. Nevertheless, it looks like behind them, I believe that might be Ritvoot. I believe it is Ritvoot behind them. We've also got another battle going on between Cosford and Oesch, P10 and P11. Cosford patching up now. Maybe he's able to find a bit of a dry line here. Or has Oesch got the move done? I have no idea. I have to have a look now if Oesch got past. Yes, he did get past Cosford. Yeah, Oesch has got past Cosford, in fact. So up in position goes Oesch. And Cosford obviously on the slicks, having to tiptoe around still with the track still being wet, and Van Hoorn there very, very wide. He's going to lose heaps of time there to Hartfield, obviously letting Vitry, one of the race leaders, or well, one of the lead cars through. Now Hartfield's going to have to do the same shortly as well, and he's going to have to time this right. If he times it wrong, he's going to allow Van Hoorn through. Looks like he's not going to do it just yet. Let's have a look. Hartfield there in the Audi. It looks like we've got Cosford now losing, well, having to let the lead cars through once again. That's with Farquhar and De Campo. De Campo up into P2 now as well. The Hondas, well, obviously Pisano did get a DSQ, I believe it's for speeding into the pits. And oh, Van Hoorn very wide on the exit there, managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction. But yeah, Yezi had a drive-through penalty, of course, and Pisano, like I said, believe he sped into the pits and got instantly disqualified. I'm not 100% sure, but that's the only reason I can think as to why he got a DSQ. Now the gap between Yezi and today is now a second, or just over a second, so Yezi has been putting his foot down, pulling away ever so slightly here. Let's get this battle up on full screen between Van Hoorn and Hartfield. Looks like Hartfield has let Whitbread through, and he has actually lost time by doing so. Looks like Barth is into the pits. What's happened to Barth? Has he got a penalty as well? Kaczynski's with the drive-through penalty, Barth with the drive-through penalty. We've got so many drive-through penalties here. The track limits is unbelievable. The drivers really struggling here in these conditions to keep it within the track limits. Let's go back to P6 and P7. Giovanni and Vitwood are neck and neck now. Just 4.5 minutes left to go of the race. You can see there Barth just about to exit the pits now. Let's go on board here with Vitwood. You can see the sprays. A bit of spray still from the BMW, the Mercedes just up ahead. Yeah, there's still a lot of water on the track, especially here. There's so much water still on the track. Looks like Van Hoorn and Hartfield now still battling for positions. We'll quickly bring that up as well. Van Hoorn, is he going to have a look towards the inside? No, he's not. Hartfield turning in a bit early there to cover off the inside. Vitwood try and go for a switchback. No, Giovanni's covered it off. Now on the straight, Walter's going to struggle to keep up. You can see it's already losing a bit of time on the straights here. Giovanni avoiding that inside curve. Vitwood taking a lot more of it, but sacrificing on the exit there. Had to lift off ever so slightly, but looks like he's been able to get the car turned in a bit more here. He's trying for a move. He's going to be close on the exit. They're side by side on the exit here. Can he hold it around the outside? This is a place we don't really see many moves stick. And looks like he's going to try around the outside to the final corner as well. They're still side by side, bit of contact between the two. They've touched, but it looks like Vitwood's held it together. And he might have the inside coming up towards turn one. Can he hold on? Vitwood is rubbing doors here at the moment, but Vitwood is going to get that move done. Up into P6 he goes, and that just looked like really hard racing between the two, leaving hardly any room between each other. But up to P6 goes. We've got Hartfield and Van Hoorn still battling for position. Yezi and Today now closing in on each other once again. Looks like they've got some traffic in front of them as well. I believe that's Clayton. We've got Taylor in P18 and Van Hoover in P19 battling for position as well. Track has now gone to damp. It's definitely not drying up quick enough. And it looks like it's happened to Van Hoorn and Hartfield. Van Hoorn has lost... Has he lost time, Van Hoorn? No, Hartfield's made a mistake. He didn't quite catch that. So Van Hoorn is up in position. These two still battling together. There's so much going on at the moment. Not exactly sure where to look. We've got P13. Oh, looks like Van den Heuvel's made a position there on Taylor. It looks like we've got a battle for P13 as well. Thomas and Bilotti. Thomas having to defend now. Thomas obviously on the slick tyres, I believe. Actually, yeah, he's on the slick tyres, I think. And Bilotti trying to battle in. Bilotti possibly on the wet. And he's really trying to get this move done. He's going to have the inside line here. He's going to send it though. No, he slots back in. And they've got another one of the Balance Esports drivers closing in on them. Is that Corsa? No, it's going to be Vitboot then, who has got past Bilotti. They're going to have to get past Thomas here. Thomas on the brake slightly to let him through, but very good place to let the lead car through because he hasn't conceded a position there. He's going to have to let the Mercedes past as well. I believe that's Giovanni in the 898. Now, where's our race leader, Boothby? So this is the last lap, in fact, and there we go, rain again in 10 minutes. So unfortunately, the slicks didn't work out, but what could have been? What could have been if the track dried up quicker? Looks like we still got Pryor and Perone battling for position. Where is Pryor at the moment? He's got Perone right at the back of him. We'll go back to the race leader here, who is coming towards the end of this lap. And yeah, Boothby just called it right. It was a massive risk to stay on the wet, especially when they saw the weather changing and the rain stopping, but it paid off. It definitely paid off. And he's going to come up towards the final corner for yet another win here at Misano. In these tricky conditions, a 30-second lead there to P2. Boothby is going to cross the line in P1. What a race there from Boothby. De Campo still has got a bit of the lap to go. And we've got... at the end today, still very, very close. Let's quickly switch to them. In fact, what's happened today? Oh, he's lost the car. Was there contact between the two? Not too sure. I don't think there was. But let's have a look at De Campo. Here we go. He's going to round off the final corner now and cross the line of P2 after starting P4. He gained 2 positions since the start. And there we go. P2 for De Campo. Let's have a look at Borman. Is that... Yeah, Borman's going to round off the final corner here. And then he's going to finish in E3. There we go. And someone showboating there. I think that was... is that Cosmic in the car? I think it is in P11. But looks like we've got Yezi in P4 here. Giovanni in today still batting for position, but Yezi's going to cross the line in P4 even after a drive-through penalty. Vitwood is going to round the final corner in P5. Another strong finish there from Vitwood. Started P11. He definitely called the strategy right. And P5 there for Vitwood. Giovanni is going to hold on to P6 today though. Oh, he's lost the car on the exit. He's going to finish in P7 nevertheless, and there we have it. Boothby in P1, De Campo in P2 and Borman in P3. We'll be back very shortly for some interviews, so make sure to stay tuned. Right, ladies and gents, we're just going to see if we can get some interviews with the drivers now. Looks like we have got Boothby, and here we go. George, another great race from you. These conditions were really tricky this time. I know it was a bit of a gamble to stay on the wets with the rain stopping, but it worked out. And I was quite surprised that the track didn't actually dry up that quickly. So the drivers who actually went for a different strategy on the slicks, yeah, it didn't really work out for them. So it was a good choice by yourself to stay on the wets. And yeah, a 30-second lead to P2. So how were you feeling after that one?
Yeah, feeling really good. I think the weather made it so like literally anything could happen, I guess. And I made sure I was like super safe on the strategy, so I put in quite a lot of fuel in case we had to go long and all that. But in the end, yeah, we pitted quite early, like right on the pit window basically for the wets, and then yeah, it just didn't dry up, which is weird because I think in the practice session of that lobby, it went wet and then dried like really quick, and then went wet again. So I was fully expecting, like I thought, who was it, Cosford? I thought he would like potentially you know, do us all there, but yeah, it just didn't dry in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it was because there was clouds and yeah, the sun never came out. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I was just expecting it to dry up, but it didn't, and we just went to the end and made sure we didn't get drive-throughs because it's really, really easy to get an off track especially in the wet on that track, and it just gives you warnings instantly. So yeah. I know both the Hondas behind suffered with it, so I just made sure I kept it nice and clean, and yeah, just made it to the end. So super happy.
Yeah, it's a great result from you. Yeah, like you said, we saw so many drive-throughs today in today's race. Crazy. But yeah, I think it was the cloud coverage. I know the sun started to come out, but then nope, clouds came again, and we in fact had rain on the forecast again in about 10 minutes. But luckily, the race ended by then. But yeah, it could have been a great race for the drivers on the slicks if it dried up enough. But yeah, once again, great call by you, staying on the wets. And I believe we've got Kyalami next. Yes, next week is Kyalami. And that might be wet as well. So, yeah, I mean, your opinion, I just want to get your opinion on these changeable conditions. Do you like them, or are they something not to do in the future?
I love the changeable conditions. Like, if you're in a super sweaty esport race, then it can be very panicky, you know, and you can be very nervous about it. But, so I mean, and it's always good for people to watch as well. But yeah, when it's sort of like this, which isn't as absolute sweaty serious, like it can really shake up the race, and like you can see people do strategies which are like a bit unconventional, and it means they can do well. Like I'll say, if that race actually dried up, then Cosford could have had us all, so it would have been interesting. So yeah, I'm always one for these mad weather changes, and I think it sort of brings out the adaptability of drivers. Like some drivers might just do hot lap after hot lap after hot lap after hot lap over and over again, and they can drive in the dry, right, and just keep doing that. But as soon as it rains or like there's a you know, a variability, their brain explodes. So
Yeah, exactly.
I just think it's really cool. I enjoy it, and you don't get it too often in leagues because, like I say, a lot of them try and go down the esporty route, which I understand, but no, I really like it. I think it's fun. It mixes it up, and it gives everyone like a unique challenge.
Yeah, it's always good to have some variability in races. Not like always wet or dry. It's more like real weather, really. You have passing by clouds and stuff, but
exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, congratulations on the win once again, and we look forward to seeing what you can do at Kyalami.
Cheers! Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care. Bye. Right, that was Boothby, everyone. We've got Foreman in. Hold on. Before we bring Foreman in, it's asking if he has to do an interview. Have to do an interview. But let's see if he wants to or not. Alright, let's bring in Borman anyways. Borman, congratulations on P3, very good result from you. How did you find the conditions?
Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me. And yeah, I like these mixed conditions because it's always that the driver. I like more it because it's more natural like driving. And it's this condition is like a survival race, and I like driving like this. It's a bit of shame that I take it the drive-through because I think I could battle for P2, but I also am surprised because I don't was thinking that I could take P3. But yes, it was very fun. A lot of chaos. Also in the front places. But yeah, it was very fun driving in starting with tricky conditions, then good condition, and then going to rain. It was very fun for me. I like very much driving in the rain. So yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm
yeah. Go on.
congratulations to Bootby that he was absolute impossible to catch, and yeah, also compliments to De Campo that he was also very fast.
Yeah,
And
we're glad you enjoyed that race. I mean, P3 is a great position to be in, and it should gain you some good points for the championship. You might move up a few positions in the championship as well, because it is very, very close between P5 to P11. Yeah, you could gain some more positions in the championship.
yeah. Finally, I have some good results because sometime I was a little bit unlucky. Sometimes it was my fault. So finally, I have a result that I wanted in this championship, and yeah, we will try to do it again in the next race. So we will see. I think I gain a lot of points, but there is also other two races, and I will try to gain a lot more in the next races.
Yeah, it's great to
And
hear.
thanks also to 11, that is the sponsor of Ragioli, that he gave us to me and Kevin that day the opportunity to participate on this beautiful championship. And thank you also for doing this, and with some fun races and tricky conditions.
Thanks for the kind words, and yeah, we hope to see another good result from you at Kailami. It's going to be a tricky one as well. I think wet weather once again, but we'll have to
Yeah,
see.
it's okay for me. I like it a lot, the rain. So much more rain there is, more happier I am. So
Yes, but we'll see you at Kailami. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. There we have it. That was Borman with a lovely interview there from him. Congratulations. Congratulating the other drivers and thanking his team, of course, for letting him participate in this championship. But from us, that is it. We'll be back live on Sunday. Yes, Sunday for the PS5 GT3 Championship, where we are at Kailami as well. So from us, good night, and we will see you then.